Drafting my own patterns has been the biggest time and energy sink out of all the steps of sewing my capsule wardrobe. So today I'm going to try and save some time and effort by hacking the pattern I used to make my last dress to make my next shirt. I sketched out 2 different versions of this shirt because I wasn't sure what fabric I wanted to use, and I've also played with the idea of some sort of embroidery on the front panel. And I ended up picking the silver fabric over the red because I had more of this silver fabric to work with. I don't know how many yards this is, but it's kind of a narrow cut of fabric, so maybe 2 yards of normal fabric? I don't know. I do know you're a menace though. What are you doing? You little monster. So I don't know if I even want to call this a full yard because it's like half a yard the other way, if that makes any sense. I have absolutely no idea what kind of fabric this is, but it is shiny and crinkly. And I know my aunt bought this in Korea, so if anybody knows what these Korean symbols mean, I would love it if you put a note in the comments because I'd love to know what this fabric means or says. And I will admit, I've been putting this shirt off for a while now because I'm not entirely sure what I want to do with that embroidery design on the front. So I think at this point I need to make the shirt. And then once I have the shirt together and can try it on, I'll figure out what kind of design embroidery it needs based on the shirt itself. So I'm just gonna try and trust the creative process on this one. Hacking sewing patterns saves time and effort because all you have to do is fold your pattern in half and use a shorter version of it. This fabric had some snags in it, so I cut out all of my pattern pieces individually. And since this fabric is so narrow, I did have to cut out a separate front and back piece for my bodice. Just had to show you all the attempts it took to get my serger decent with this fabric. And of course I finished the neckline with a neckline facing. Why would I not at this point? Constructing the bodice of this shirt was very simple. I did it the exact same way I constructed the bodice of the dress I made, which is still fresh in my mind. This vintage hand-sewn, hand-beaded, hand-embroidered slip is the inspiration for the style and the cut of the shirt I'm making today. So I took this idea of having a yoke with the embroidery on the top and then have the rest be free-flowing, and I changed the style of it so it would just work more easily with my sewing style and my comfort level. And I'm pretty happy with the way this is working out so far. And I just gotta do the rest. There's still a lot to do. I just started this. I don't know why I'm saying, oh, I just gotta do this. I just started. I have a lot to do. And my idea with the rest of this fabric is to just fold it in half the long way, and then either pleat or ruffle, bunch it up along the bottom part here, and that will be the structure of the shirt itself. I don't know what else to say, like it's going according to plan. gonna sit right where I need to work. Right on the strip of fabric I just put down. Is that how you're gonna be? Is it how you're gonna be? Little cat. Love you too. I ended up attaching the bottom tier to the shirt using finger pleats, which are softer than a pleat but more structured than ruffles. For whatever reason, I'm kind of getting princess vibes, and I think it's just because the shiny material is similar to like the material they make Disney princess costumes out of, but I'm kind of fine with that. I think once I put the embroidery on, it's gonna look a little more mature, I guess is the word there. But I'm happy with the way this is coming out. These are nice fluffy ruffle pleats. They're probably just box pleats that I didn't do properly and didn't measure out, but I like the way they came out, so I'm gonna leave them. Now for the embroidery, the biggest thing is I don't want to put anything bulky in the armpits because that'll just make it uncomfortable to wear. So I think I'm gonna go embroider some pieces and then set them on top in like little patches or appliques. And I had the idea of taking the little flower designs from within this pattern, this fabric, and designing the embroidery based on those so that it'll look more cohesive. I sketched out a few different flower designs in 2-inch squares and 4-inch squares. I have 2 stashes of embroidery floss to work with, and I also have some seed beads and bugle beads. And unfortunately, I can't find my Dritz water erasable pen, so I'm gonna have to order another one tomorrow and then put this on hold till then. I took the rest of my silver fabric and lined it on the back with some interfacing to stabilize my embroidery. And then I traced a bunch of flowers onto the fabric using a water erasable pen. 3rd of May. I spent the last 2 days kind of practicing the stitches I wanted to use, checking to see how long it took to even embroider the satin stitch around the edge. And I think I will be able to do a decent number of these flowers. I don't know if I'll have enough time and energy to really get in and do all of the flowers I sketched out, but I'm gonna just give it a shot and see how many I can do. I figured I'll go till the end of the month. If I don't have all the flowers embroidered by the end of the month, I'm just gonna cut it there and embroider and like stitch them onto my shirt. As they say, April showers bring May flowers, and so May is the month of embroidering flowers for me. I'm going to show you guys what kind of music I'm listening to while making this project, because this is going to be a long one. I'm going to listen to a lot of music. And I want to know what kind of music you guys listen to while you're doing hand projects, whether it's beading, embroidery, knitting, crochet, whatever it is. If you're doing like English paper piecing or some crap like that, what music helps you guys focus? I want to know, because I know what music helps me focus. And I once had my Aunt Holly when I was in middle school. I was listening to Metallica while I was drawing at her house, and she goes, "Does that band even have any popular songs?" And I was just like, yeah, actually they do. But I want to know, what kind of music gets you guys focused? Let me know down in the comments below. Anyway, I'm going to shut out the world for the next month. And when this embroidery project is done, I'll get back to you. Y'all, I was gonna come in here and do a little joke, a little bit, where I like walked into a wall and was like, ah, I just turned 30. But on my 30th birthday, I drove into the garage door and I bent it so bad that my husband had to bend it back because the door wouldn't close on its own. So I, after literally hitting the wall on my 30th birthday, I no longer find that joke to be funny, and you guys aren't allowed to laugh either. Yeah. But anyway, this is what 1 month of embroidery looks like. Yeah. Meow. Meow. I bit off more than I could chew with this project, but sometimes you have to bite off more than you can chew so you can like realize you can chew more than you thought you could. I don't know. There's a thing there. I would not call myself an embroiderer. I've done like 5 to 10 embroidery projects and cross-stitch projects throughout my entire life, and I did a couple of those on YouTube. So this is by far the biggest embroidery project I've ever done. The most time-consuming, most labor-intensive, and like the most like difficult beading and stitching. Like I never knew how to do a French knot properly before, so I learned how to do a French knot here so I could make this entire center French knots. And so I really pushed myself for this, but I think these are really, really beautiful. I love the way this one came out. This one's my favorite. It looks like little dragonfly wings, but this is just so much work, and it's good when things come full circle and when they actually work out for you. Like, I think this is gonna make a really, really beautiful shirt. I rubbed off as many markings as I could, and then I just let the embroidery soak in water until the water bath came clear. And then I dried the pieces by rolling them in a towel and then set them on a dry towel to dry the rest of the way. And I think I might have screwed up my test marking washing off strip because I didn't let that one fully dry. So of course the water dissolved the markings just fine. But there are some very, very faint blue lines still on this fabric. I think I got most of it out from underneath the embroidery itself, but there are just like a few spots, like on the lighter flowers, that still show through. Miraculously, the blue ink dried very faded and muted on this fabric, so it's not very obvious at all. And even on the white flower, which had the most obvious coloring underneath like these little metallic threads here, it's still not that obvious even on this flower. So I'm happy with the way the ink dried. I'm pretty sure this is the design I want to go with, but I am gonna sleep on this for a night and then think about it in my head and then come back to it before I actually sew everything on. I kinda, in the back, wanna put one more of this shape, and I really don't want to make another one, but I feel like it would look good like right over here in the middle. So maybe I'll make one. I feel like I'm done though. I don't want to embroider anything more. I love you too. You're a good boy. Now. I sewed the flowers onto my shirt using what I can only describe as a mix between a whip stitch and a ladder stitch, where I caught the edge of the fabric and then I caught a few sideways threads with the needle and just kind of cinched it all together. So I got about half of this done. No, I got exactly half of these flowers done today. So I actually counted them. There's 22 flowers and I sewed on 11 of them today. And something I found that while tacking these flowers on, it's better to use like a looser tension. Like it's better to leave some slack in the thread rather than to tighten it. And that helps a bit with puckers. So I'm just gonna keep doing what I'm doing tomorrow, and it should take 2 days to sew all of these flowers on. When I get really involved with a project, like this embroidery, I always have a moment where I feel like I'm waking up from hibernation, and I'm definitely having that moment right now that I have all these flowers sewn on. But I've never had anything this beautiful in my life, and I'm really impressed with my work here. Like, I feel like I really outdid myself with this. But also, I spent a ridiculous amount of time on this, like so ridiculous that even I think it's ridiculous. But it was worth it. It was 100% worth it. And I'm almost done with this. So all I have to do is the side seams and then the hems, and I'm gonna hem it the same way I hemmed my dress. So excuse you. And that shouldn't take too long, so I'm just gonna go ahead and finish this shirt like today or tomorrow, hopefully by the end of this weekend. Get off! Get off! Shoo! Oh, don't you get that adamant face with me. Come on. Come over here and get your string. Come on. Come here. Come on. I'm gonna kick you out. So listening to Evanescence the last few days, it reminded me of that like awkward time period when like we had the internet but you couldn't just look anything up on the internet. And so I had no idea that Evanescence was like more of a goth rock band, and I thought they were a religious rock band. I thought they were a Christian metal band because my mother listened to this Christian radio station and they would play Tourniquet, and so I was just totally confused about what genre they were. But what I did know is that was the only good song on that station. gotta show you guys this little comb. It's probably upside down, but I never wear this, and I think it's really cute. I paid a lot of money for it, so I had to wear it today. This shirt is so much more beautiful than I originally planned on it being. I was just gonna make like a simple, casual, silvery gray shirt with this material, but oh my goodness, I outdid myself. I've also really been wanting to make something to go with this umbrella because I spent a lot of money for this to go with my steampunk costume that I wore once and never again because it doesn't fit anymore. So having a beautiful shirt to go with this umbrella is like dreamy. I don't know what else to say. Another piece of clothing from my capsule wardrobe done. Super successful, beautiful. This is the most beautiful piece of clothing I've ever made in my life, hands down. If this shirt is a video game, I S-ranked it. And I'm like almost done with my capsule wardrobe. I have 3 pieces left, so we're on the official countdown now. And I hope you guys, if you haven't already, are subscribed to my channel so you can watch the next piece of clothing that I'm gonna make for my capsule wardrobe. And why don't you leave a comment down there while you're at it and like the video. That would all be great. Thank you guys so much for watching my video today. I had a blast making this, and it was just really nice to take some downtime to be creative with all of these little embroidered flowers and just hand sew and bead for a bit. So I hope I'll see you guys next time. Screaming? No screaming? I don't know. I love this shirt.